The biggest way I try to build trust with somebody is, first of all, to let them know that they're heard. The other thing is to introduce myself and tell them a little bit about me personally, not just my legal background, but my personal background. I think if I'm authentic and I sort of uh, bare my soul a little bit and tell somebody who I am and sort of what has formed me, then they're more feel more free to open up with me about their situation. Reassure them that anything they tell me, even before they've hired me, is attorney-client privilege, and that it's not going to go any further than that room, and that I can never represent anybody in a matter against them because I'm having that consultation. And then I try to go through and I will share some of my experience and history in different cases, and I'll sometimes relate different anecdotes about clients I've seen in the same situation and how I guided them through that. And usually, I think most people can tell you know what you're talking about. Seems really that way in criminal matters. Unfortunately, a lot of times somebody that's charged with a crime, it's not their first rodeo. They've been in trouble before, maybe since they were juveniles, and now they're adults and they've gotten in trouble. And so you can't really fool somebody like that that's pretty streetwise. That they've been around the block a time or two, and it's important for them to know that so have I, and that I can understand where they're coming from, and that I can help them walk through the situation. I also think that you can build trust by being honest with somebody up front and saying, hey, look, this is what I think, and you're not going to get exactly what you want. And sometimes you see their face change and like, what? I don't like what you're telling me. And I look at them and I say, look, I must honestly believe what I'm telling you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying this. It's not some great sales pitch that is going to get you to just hand over all your money to me and hire me, because I'm telling you an inconvenient truth you don't like. So I must be telling the truth. And I tell them, go down the street, pick up the phone, make a couple of more consults. If those people tell you something drastically different than what I'm telling you, it's probably, and it sounds too good to be true, it's probably because it is too good to be true. They're telling you what you want to hear to get the case or the money. If you go talk to them and they convince you that they can do something that I say is impossible, by all means, go hire them. But I think you're going to be disappointed. And I must honestly believe what I'm telling you if I'm giving you bad news right there at the front about what we're dealing with. But I'm going to try to pivot off that and give you a plan of, hey, this is where you are, but we're going to try to, take lemons and make lemonade. And we're going to try to turn a negative into a positive, and where you're going to learn some lesson from this, and you're going to come out as good as you possibly can at the end of the day.
Jay, I think you're